When buying a home, do you need to do any investigation beyond just the general inspection? Well, that's the topic of today's video, and we're starting right now. Welcome back. I am Michelle Miller with Michelle Miller Realty and Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Arizona Properties. And if you're new to the channel, I talk about all things real estate and some things that are happening here in the Scottsdale, Phoenix area. Today's topic is home buying and the types of inspections that you should be undertaking once you are under contract. So let's just jump right in. So something to note, a general inspector is just that. It's a general inspection. Part of the objective of an inspection is to acquaint you with your home. Where is the shutoffs, the water shutoffs? What type of air conditioners do you have? What are the ages of them? How old are the water heaters? Something to note, a general inspector does not check your landscaping. They will not check your barbecue. So if you get into a house and you're like, oh, the igniter doesn't work, well, that's because it was never checked in the first place. Some will run some appliances like the dishwasher and stuff, but and some will do the washer and dryer and some will not. So sometimes it's good to figure out what inspection company you're hiring, what they do and do not check, so you are fully aware of what you're paying for. So on that thread, when I say that it's a general inspection, so the three biggest things that really cost people money in homes here in Arizona are going to be your roof, your pool, and then your HVAC and replacing those units. So if you think about that, that's probably where you might want to have a specialist come in and do those actual inspections, because an inspector is not a certified pool inspector. Okay, it's good to have a specialized pool person so that you know if your equipment is functioning properly before you inherit a pool that has a lot of mechanical problems, or it's leaking or things like that. And a general inspector might see things that are leaking, but he doesn't necessarily know why they're leaking. And a pool specialist will be able to tell you that. Generally, and you're going to pay for a general inspector to inspect that pool also. So you might as well, if you're going to spend the money, you might as well have a person that's dedicated and knows pools do that inspection for you. The other thing is the HVAC. Again, the general inspector is not his job. He's not a technician. It's just like you're going to go in and have surgery. Okay, well, if I need heart surgery, I'm not going to call a general surgeon to do surgery in my heart, right? So same kind of deal. If you want to have your HVAC thoroughly inspected, I recommend, especially if it's an older home and they're older units, that is definitely worth the money, and it's really not that expensive. If there's one repair that they have to make on it, you can usually recoup your cost on that, having the seller make that adjustment. And then the roof. A lot of roofers don't charge to come out and to walk your roof. And I know a lot of times people will think, well, of course they're going to tell me it needs to be replaced. No, that's not always the case. And especially if your agent has a nice relationship with a roofer that they use all the time, like most of us do, they're generally going to give you a legitimate report on what is going on with the roof, if they want to keep us referring people to them, right? Okay, a couple other inspections that you might not be thinking about. If your home is set in a kind of a remote area, or if it's like a flag lot or something like that, you might want to definitely have a separate survey done to make sure that you actually have defined access to your parcel. And the reason I'm saying that is because it did come up with one of my coworkers that after they did the survey, they realized that the current owner of a property was driving illegally over a piece of land. Now the homeowner at one time probably said, oh yeah, you can just use that path. But if it's not annexed in, what if that guy sells this house and says, no way, you're not driving over my property, and now you can't even get to your house. So that's something. If your house is on a well, you definitely want, and septic, you definitely want to have those checked. Especially the well, you want to make sure the flow, how much water is coming out of that, because then you need to know if you're might be in the market for having to get hauled water at some time. The septic is the responsibility of the seller to have that inspected within, I think it's within 6 months of the last, like if you sold it in April, it would have had to have been inspected within the prior 6 months. So, and pumped. So that's something to keep in mind. There is a rule on our addendum about that when they have to pump that. But those are just a couple other things. So in some of our hillside lots, those pipes, when they built those houses, were made from clay, and so that might not be a horrible idea to have those pipes scoped to make sure that there's, that ground shifts, and so if those pipes become misaligned, you might end up with some sort of issue down the road, a potential sewerage issue, stinky. So that's something to consider too. So, you can inspect yourself to death. I'm not recommending that, but I just want to make sure that you feel like you're getting full information before you inherit, a lot of problems and a lot of cost. So, and your agent will be a good resource to tell you, provide you a little guidance on, the inspections that they feel are necessary. But I always look at the age of the home first and foremost, look at what has been replaced, and even if stuff's new, doesn't necessarily mean it was installed right either. So just something to keep in mind. So like all my videos, if you have any questions about this video or other videos, please reach out. My contact information is below. Oh, and it's right near the subscribe button, so you could press that so you are notified the next time that we drop a video and you don't miss any of them. I'll also put a link down there to my seller's guide and a link to the my buyer series. I have a 3-part buyer series as well that you might find interesting. So as always, I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and have a great day.